Okay, lesson 0.1, polynomials review. So as a recall, like terms that have the exact same variable component, okay? So we're only looking at the variable component there. So an example is like if we had x and then 3x. These are like terms. Okay, so when we go ahead and collect like terms, what we're actually doing is adding or subtracting only the coefficients of the like terms. What we're going to do is we're going to keep the variable the same. Okay, so just following up with this example, x plus 3x is going to be 4x, right? Because the coefficient of x, if you can't see the coefficient, then it's just 1. And then 3, so we're technically doing 1 plus 3 equals 4. Okay, and then here's the difference between adding polynomials and subtracting polynomials, and we're going to see this. When we add the polynomials, all we do is like strictly collect like terms. Okay, so you just add them all together. That's the easy one. When we're subtracting polynomials, and this will be in the second example, what we're doing is we're essentially multiplying all terms in the second polynomial by -1, and then we collect. Okay, almost like a distributive law. So, example 1, add the following polynomials. So, 2m plus 1 is bracketed as one polynomial. Then we're adding, and then the 6m minus 5 is bracketed. As soon as there's a plus sign between two polynomials, you don't have to actually write them with brackets anymore. We can just collect them. So if you want to skip this step where like you just take them out of brackets, you can. But if you want to write it, that's okay too. So we're going to collect 2m plus 6m is going to equal 8m. And then 1 minus 5 is going to be equal -4. And that's it. Okay, these can't collect because one of these terms has an m on it and the other term doesn't have a variable on it. Okay, the next one. So again, we have a polynomial here, a plus sign, and a polynomial here. So we don't actually have to rewrite this. All we're going to do is completely ignore the brackets and add the terms. So 4x squared minus 2x squared is going to be 2x squared. 3x minus 2x is going to be x. And -2 plus 3 is going to be +1. Okay, subtract the following polynomials. So this time we have a polynomial, a negative sign, and then a polynomial. So what we're going to do, I'm going to do this distributive property approach where we are going to apply this negative sign onto every term in the second bracket, okay, because we're subtracting this entire polynomial. So the 9x squared plus 3x we're going to leave, and then the second bracket we're going to change to minus x squared plus 8x minus 1. Okay, I'm going to just highlight this. A lot of students will apply the negative onto the x squared. A lot of students will forget to actually distribute it to the other two terms. So usually this term here is correct, and usually like the 8x and the -1, like the signs will be different on those. So just be careful and ensure that you're distributing it. Okay, so let's collect these. So we have 9x squared minus 1x squared, so we get 8x squared. 3x plus 8x, I get 11x. And then there's no constant for the first one, but we have a -1 for the second one. Okay, so we get 8x squared plus 11x minus 1. Okay, same approach for number 2. Polynomial, negative sign, polynomial. Apply that negative sign onto each and every term in the second bracket. So I'm going to first rewrite this. negative r squared minus 4rs plus 2. Then the 2r squared turns to negative 2r squared. The 2rs turns to negative 2rs. And the 3 turns to negative 3. Okay, now we're going to collect like terms. So negative r squared minus 2r squared, we get negative 3r squared. Negative 4rs, negative 2rs, we get negative 6rs. And then we got 2 minus 3 is negative 1. Okay, now we're going to do multiplying polynomials. So when multiplying polynomials, what we're going to do is we're going to multiply every term in the first bracket by every term in the second bracket. Okay, so there's going to be two different types of expanding here. There's going to be one where we have a monomial, so technically this is distributive property, where we take that a, which would technically be the first bracket, multiply by b, and multiply by c. Okay, we just saw this with the negative 1. So we would get AB plus AC. Okay, in regards to foiling, we take the A and we distribute it to C and D. Okay, that gives us AC plus AD. Then we take the B term and we distribute that, or multiply that by C and multiply that by D. So then we get plus BC plus BD. Okay, this whole expansion. All right, let's start example 2, expand and collect like terms. So we're going to start with this 8, which is a monomial. We're going to distribute it into this first bracket. So 8 times 2x is 16x. 8 times negative 5 is negative 40. The bracket stops here, so stop distributing that 8 at that time. Okay, the 8's done. Now we're going to take that 3 and distribute it into the second bracket. I changed colors. All right, 3 times x is 3x. 3 times 4 is 12. Okay, and at this time, we can collect like terms. 16x plus 3x. We get 19x. Negative 40 plus 12. Okay, negative 28. So that's just straight distributive property. Now let's take a look at one for foiling. So the first term in the first bracket is x. Okay, we have x plus 2 in the first bracket, and this is being multiplied by x plus 6. So let's multiply x times x. We get x squared. Okay, and x times 6, we get plus 6x. Okay, we're done with this x term. Now we can focus on the 2. 2 times x is 2x, and 2 times 6 is 12. Okay, so we get x squared. We're going to collect these two like terms in the middle, plus 8x plus 12. Okay, so C, we have negative and then 4x plus 5 squared. So when you see this negative, what I usually do is I just bring it down. Where this is a monomial, so it stands for negative 1. Then when we see a bracket squared, we want to multiply that bracket, 4x plus 5, by itself, 4x plus 5. Okay, so the rule is 2 at a time. So we technically have 3 terms right here. We have negative 1, 4x plus 5, and then 4x plus 5. So only multiply 2 at a time. I'm going to bring this -1 down. I'm going to multiply these two terms. So 4x times 4x, and I'm going to bracket it. I get 16x squared. 4x times 5 is 20x. 4x times 5 again is 20x. And 5 times 5 is 25. Okay, your choice whether you want to collect like terms and then distribute the -1, or distribute the -1 and then collect like terms. You're going to get the same answer. Okay, I'm going to collect these two in the middle right now. So 20x plus 20x is 40x. So bring down the 16x squared plus 40x, and then we're just going to bring down this 25. The 16x squared has no other terms that are like it, and the 25, we have no other constants. Okay, and at this point, we're going to distribute in this -1. So we get -16x squared minus 40x minus 25. There we go. Okay, if I ever say the word negate, all this means is that we're flipping signs. Okay, so multiplying by -1 or dividing by -1, what we do is negate every single term. So just like flip the signs. Okay. All right, D. We're going to do the bracket first. So I'm going to leave the 5 here, and I'm going to do the big square bracket. Okay. X plus 10 remains as x plus 10 because there's no number in front of this bracket. So let's just take it out of the bracket. Now, the -9, I'm going to distribute into the second bracket. So -81x plus 9. Okay, bring that 5 down, big bracket. I can put equal signs. Now let's collect like terms here. 1 minus 81 is -80x. And then 10 plus 9 is plus 19. Okay, just remember these are not like terms because one has an x on it and one doesn't. Okay, at this point we can go ahead and distribute that 5 into the bracket. It doesn't matter if the brackets are square or round. So -400x we get when we do 5 times -80 or -80x. Okay, and now 5 times 19 we get plus 95. Okay, E. So with E, we have 3 terms at first, and then actually 3 terms again because this would count as a -1. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring down the monomial, like the 3, and I'm going to expand the 2 brackets. Then I'm going to bring down the -1, and I'm going to expand the 2 brackets. Okay, so let's go ahead and FOIL these. X times x is x squared. X times 2 is 2x. -4 times x is -4x. And -4 times 2 is -8. Okay, same thing over here. X times x is x squared. X times -3 is -3x. 1 times x is x. And 1 times -3 is -3. I'm going to simplify by collecting the 2 middle-like terms in each bracket. Okay, so I'm going to bring down the 3, and this polynomial is going to simplify to x squared with 2x minus 4, which is -2x, sorry, minus 4x, and then bring down the -8, and that one's done. Now bring down the x squared. We'll subtract these two, so negative 2x, and then bring down the negative 3. Okay, in the next line, we're going to distribute in the 3 into the first bracket. Then we're going to stop when the bracket stops. So 3 times x squared is 3x squared. 3 times negative 2 is negative 6, so negative 6x. And 3 times negative 8 is negative 24. Okay, we're going to do the same thing to the negative 1. Distribute it into the second bracket. So negative x squared. We're just negating these numbers. So instead of negative 2x, it's going to be plus 2x. And instead of negative 3, it's going to be plus 3. Now we collect like terms. So 3x squared minus 1x squared is 2x squared. Negative 6x plus 2x is negative 4x. And negative 24 plus 3 is negative 21. Okay, F is a little bit different. We have two trinomials here, okay? But it's the exact same pattern. And we can, if we had a 4-term polynomial, 5-term polynomial, it's going to act the exact same. We always start with the first term, x squared, and we distribute it into every term in the second bracket. So x squared times x squared is x to the 4. Remember exponent laws, we're adding these exponents when we have the same base. Now x squared times negative x is negative x cubed. X squared times negative 2 is a negative 2x squared. And we're done with the x squared. Now let's distribute the 2x. 2x is going to be multiplied by x squared. So we're going to have 2x cubed. It's going to be multiplied by negative x. So we're going to have negative 2x squared. And it's going to be multiplied by this negative 2, so we get negative 4x. And now the 2x is done. Now let's distribute this 3. 3 times x squared is 3x squared. I'm going to jam it in here. 3 times negative x is negative 3x. And 3 times negative 2 is negative 6. Okay, so the expansion part is completely done. We took each and every term in the first bracket and we multiplied it by each and every term in the second bracket. Okay, and now we collect like terms. So we don't have another x to the 4 term, so we can just write that down. We have negative x cubed and 2x cubed, so that simplifies to x cubed. Negative 2x squared and 3x squared, and negative 2x squared. So negative 2 minus 2 is negative 4, plus 3 is going to be negative 1. So just negative x squared. Negative 4x, negative 3x is going to be negative 7x, and then the negative 6 is the only like constant term. So there's our expansion.